Item number 4 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. If there are, pardon me, Jim? Oh, sure.
I'm here on behalf of Meadowlark Avenue in Dixon's Suburban Acres. It's a water problem we have on Meadowlark Avenue from the south to the north. We had 3 inches of rain last night, and if we get another 3 inches tonight or next 2 nights, there's going to be a lot of basements with water in. And one way to relieve that is up the city boy up there with the backhoe down on the north end where Cooper is, and open up that pile for now. But there's an intake right behind Tom Getty's house, and it's plugged up. I don't know what the obstruction is, but I would appreciate it. I don't have any problem with help. I'm setting higher. But it's down the street a little bit that there's going to be some bad places if we don't do something.
Any questions or comments?
In fact, if you don't know, when the railroad was abandoned, you could file an affidavit and claim that property. So this is what we did. Then we hired purchasers to come in and level it all off. Well, there's one party that didn't want to do that. Very slick. Some of you might remember him. And then after 2 years, it looked too good. He said, I think I'll do that, but he didn't go down that much too short. So that's an obstruction right there. But from there on down to the Gisler Street, is the problem.
So is it an obstruction, what, deep under the ground, or is it...
It's above. No. The tile, when the railroad property was there, was a 36-inch tile right behind McGinney's house. And then when the railroad was taken out, the tile was gone, and the only thing left was the drain. When I built my house, the water would come in behind my house, down there, all the way along Meadowlark Avenue, just a little creek, just right. Now we don't get the flow of water. Backtrack a little bit, Kluber, Lawrence Anderson built the house there where Kluber is, and he bought the property from the railroad and put a 16-inch concrete tile in there. And then Francis Lang lived in the next house, and he proceeded to cover it up. Well, the city administrator, Gary Mahanan, and Don Zimmerman, the city superintendent, went up there and said, no, you've got to put tile in. So, okay, he put tile in, and he put about that big a tile. He's going into one that big. That's an obstruction. But the opinion I get from the city council that it's tough. It's not your business. It's our business. But I think the city was negligent in letting that get by the time that it did. But speaking on behalf of like Sherry and some of the others down here, if they could find that obstruction of that field tile going in behind the house.
Question there?
Well, just to clarify this a little bit here, you're saying this field tile is the obstruction, or is it being obstructed somewhere else? Or
The field tile comes down underneath the railroad and Tom McGinney's, and then kind of heads off to the southeast.
which does it come from some farmer's field, or
Yes.
what?
George Gladys.
Okay, it comes from George Glass's field, and it drains into behind Tom McGinney's house.
It drains into the city sewer according to, I don't know, you know.
So we have a field tile out of somebody's farm field draining into the city sewer. Is that what you're saying?
It's sanitary. It's not
It's a storm sewer.
It's a storm sewer, yeah.
It's not the city sewer.
But I don't know where it connects.
And it does flood all of those houses back behind there. Because my mom owns one of those homes out there as well. She is concerned if there's any more rain this week, she will have water in her basement.
Well, I guess I'm kind of curious as the council's position on this. If this position has been there for, I don't know how many years, and forgive me, I'm new here with this thing, if this situation has been persistent for that long, and it's the property owners themselves that have experienced this, where does the city come in on this tile that comes into the field? I don't quite understand that.
Well, I think that
To the back of-
anything that happens in the city limits, the city should be involved in.
Oh, I
Right or
agree
wrong?
with that, but, you know, as the actual, is the city responsible for this obstruction? I mean, did the city do anything to obstruct this tile?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the obstruction is.
Who owns the tile?
Who owns what?
Who owns this tile that runs back there? I mean, you talked about these individual houses that put tile in
It was
there.
put in, it was built, the field tile was put in probably the early 1800s, 1850, I don't know.
But where the obstruction is, it's a small tile, not big enough to handle the water.
That's one of the obstructions, but the
Okay.
field tile obstruction is underground there. Where Cindy, Mrs. Green lives, I remember we were digging that house, Mark Peterson was building his house, and he had a, out back over by the drag line in there, digging that basement. He hit the tile on the northwest corner of the basement. So he dug out around that corner and run it clear around the house. But I don't know where it goes from there. I don't know where the tile goes. There's an obstruction someplace. But they used to take, and never, years ago, there was never any, we've had a lot of big rains. We've never had a problem that we got now. I mean, it's not me, because I'm up higher, but it's the other people down the road.
Jim, though, that tile that was under Kluger, what's behind Kluger's, whoever lived there before they did, or before the person before that, just filled it in. So if they'd open up that, if that tile there by Gishwiller would be opened up, I think it would drain a lot of it north.
Okay, so did the city build this in? The previous owner?
We don't know.
No, that's all private, yeah.
It's all private.
But see, they
Water
made,
back there.
they made, Francis Lang was going to put a tile in. No, he's just going to fill it in. He found out, no, you can't. You've got to put a tile in first. Well, he put a rinky-dink tile about that big into one that big. That doesn't draw very much water.
And this happened how long ago?
Oh, about 20 years, I suppose. I don't know, time goes by so fast. I think if the city could, if the city could help a little bit and find the obstruction of that field tile, it may be okay.
Terry, do you know when that was?
I believe around 81. The water ran down the red ditch and went under a 15 to 16 inch culvert under a Gishwiller and filled in south of that, reduced it down to a small 6-inch intake between the second and third house.
Do you think there's something up there that could be blocked, that could alleviate this problem?
Well, there's two separate tiles. The one he's talking about is in the Guinea's backyard, and that flows to the east-northeast. We have no idea where, and it is probably has tree roots in it somewhere. It's just gotten worse over time, and it's down to where it doesn't take any water. And these McGinneys, every time it rains, they went and purchased a 3-inch trash pump. You have to pump it out to the road.
And how does field tile work? Where's it supposed to go?
This field tile is supposed to have been, glass says it's no longer in use, they read tile. But they're getting all the drainage off of the armory area to this tile. The simple fix would be for whoever to take that tile and run out to our storm sewer intake. Approximately, I would say 100 feet.
Probably.
And that would take care of McKinney's problem.
That would, see there's that tile, and then as the water flows to the north behind Linda Green, the ground level's higher, which dams it up there. It's just, it's a grade problem.